My guest today is Amy Nobile Messing. Amy is an author, an incredibly successful and sought-after holistic dating coach, and the founder of Love Amy, a service where she helps people find love on the apps. What makes Amy's work special is her focus on shifting her clients' energy and mindset to help them attract the right person into their lives. She works with people of all ages to help them understand their core values, their blocks when it comes to healthy, long-lasting relationships, and what they need to do to attract genuine, authentic love. Amy, I know how in demand you are, and so I feel so lucky to have you as a guest on the Every Muse podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. We made it happen.
We did. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm really well. Thank you.
I wanted to start by asking, first, what is a holistic dating coach? And two, how did you become one?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I defined holistic dating coach for myself as I became one. Didn't know that this would be the biggest plot twist of my life, for sure. I was in a marriage of 20 years. We were together for 26 years. At the time, I was an entrepreneur. I was an author in a completely different sector. I was running a jewelry company and was writing books. And so I just realized that I wasn't okay with the status quo, and there was nothing wrong. I mean, I think it's the scariest position to be in when you just have this gut feeling that something is waiting for you on the other side, but there's nothing to point to. It's not like there was anything egregious going on. My intuition was telling me that there was something I had to do, and that something was to get out of this marriage to see what was on the other side of it. And that's exactly what I did. It was really tough. And I was single in my late 40s in New York City, and I just jumped in with no idea what I was doing. I made every mistake somebody can make. I had no clue that this would lead to a new career, helping people find love. But I found something really interesting, and it's that in every other part of our lives, in our career, in our education, with building friendships, it's like we know the roadmap. We're taught how to do it. But when it comes to finding love and finding our partners, our soulmates, arguably the biggest, most important decision of our entire lives, we are completely lost. No one has taught us how to do this. And thanks to Disney and thanks to culture, we just think that we're going to feel butterflies and everything will take care of itself. And in today's modern world, where it is increasingly less likely that you're going to meet someone in real life, in person, out and about in the world, it's really tough. And so I found myself trying the apps, making all the mistakes, trying to talk to people in real life in New York City and failing miserably. And I had to take a step back myself, and I had to do a few things. One was ask myself, who am I now? Because I am not in my 40s who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a year ago even. What am I looking for? Like, who am I really looking for? Not just the peripherals, but who am I looking for from the inside out on a soul level? What is the energy that I'm emitting? So when I approach dating, am I approaching dating with the same energy that's light and high vibrational and optimistic? Or am I approaching dating like everybody else around me with dread, with I'm just going to wait and see and hope that someone crosses my path. And then when I see it, then I'll come alive? Well, that's the opposite energy that you need. And then finally, what was I taught about love? What patterns am I still repeating? And what are my wounds? So I had to do all this work for myself. I am a nerdy social anthropology type brain. I loved every minute of it. So I started to date from that place. After I took a step back and a pause, then I went back into dating with all this knowledge. And then I kind of created what is the Love Amy program today, which is, how do you date intentionally? Like, how do you know if you're aligned with someone? And then it hit me like a lightning bolt. We're dating from a place as women of trying to be chosen because that's what we have been taught. And so when I really realized that, that was like the light bulb that went off for me. Like, wait a minute. This is not about being chosen. This is simply, am I aligned with the person sitting in front of me? And how do I know? So I started to come up with questions that I would ask in my 4 pillars. And so it morphed into, not only did I meet my new husband, Brett, on Bumble, but I was actually putting together the scaffolding for what is now my business.
I love that story. There's so much there to unpick. I think the first thing that I love about that story is how you honored yourself and how you felt. And I think that I think we all know, right? We all have an intuition, but we don't necessarily honor it or give ourselves the kind of grace to listen to it. And it feels like there is a big part of you that is very intuition based. And I wanted to ask how much of that kind of feeds into the work that you do.
Yeah, it's big. It's really big. And
Yeah.
it's funny because at first I kept the energy piece and my intuitive piece out of my business because I thought, no one's going to want that. People are pragmatic. They want to know how to optimize the apps. They want to know how to put together a winning profile, right? And I do all that. But here's what I learned. You can put together the most amazing profile. You can swipe all day and all night. You can flit around the world trying to meet people, tell everybody that I'm single. But if your energy is coming from fear, if you have blocked energy, which means you're holding on subconsciously to past wounds and hurts out of fear, then you will get nowhere. And so that was another huge light bulb. So not only do we need to be dating intentionally, but we need to be aware of our energy output and where the energy is coming from. So that became a huge part of my program. And it's funny, I just did a prospect call before this interview, and I do several a week, and I refuse to do video. People always say, like, but I'm so cute. I want to show you. And I want to, and I'm like, I'm sure you're really cute. And when I do work with someone, we do video calls every week. But when I'm deciding whether it's a fit, I'm reading energy. Because what I know for sure is this: the biggest predictor of your success in dating has nothing to do with what you look like, what you do, how much money you make, how tall you are, where you grew up. The biggest predictor of your dating success is your energy and where you're vibrating. And so that is the wild card that a lot of people kind of miss the boat on.
You don't focus on that. You don't think about your energy. And I think actually when you go into a date feeling really good about yourself and knowing that, it could work out, it could also not work out, and I would be okay either way, I think you just have a better experience of it. You don't come away from it completely deflated. You kind of just chalk it up to meeting someone new. And I have definitely know what you're saying. When you bring good energy, when you're operating from a vibe of like, I'm pretty happy right now. If it happens, it happens. It just makes for a better date.
It makes for a better date. I always know when the magic is starting to sink in with my clients, when they leave an objectively bad date, and I don't like labeling dates like that. You're either aligned or you're not. But when my client texts me after leaving an objectively bad date on whatever level, but they text me and with joy, and they text me and say, guess what? That was comical. We were just so not aligned, or they were so different than their pictures, or they lied about their age, or whatever it was. But I'm laughing. And I had fun because I asked the questions I wished people would ask me on the date. And I learned something new, right? Yeah. So that's what it's about. And that is your energy output.
What do you tell clients for a first date? Like, are there tips that you give them? How do you kind of walk them through that initial?
Yeah. So I email a bunch of documents to my clients, like almost like we're taking a course together. And one of the documents is the first date roadmap. And you really do have to look at the first date as like a mini screener date. It's just an energy check. It's a vibe check. And so one of the first questions I like to coach to is when you sit down with someone, instead of spending 20 minutes talking about the weather or talking about just inane stuff, just out of like nerves, ask them, turn to them and say, so how's online dating going for you? Or how's dating going for you? Like, you're on the same team. You're two humans.
No small talk.
Yeah, just cut through it. It's okay to have a little small talk. That's fine. But you can pivot at any time. I think it's much more interesting to kind of get to the meat of something, but it doesn't have to be serious job interview vibe. It can just be like, okay, like I would smile. That'd be the first thing. I would get there early, set my energy. By the way, first date should be no longer than 45 minutes. It's a mini screener date. It's coffee, juice, early drink. You just tell someone ahead of time, hey, I'd love to meet you, but I have about an hour. So you're setting your boundary right away. And I would get there early. And then whoever sat in front of me, I would just smile and I would say, oh my gosh, thank you for meeting me. So, yep, met on Hinge. A little awkward, but gosh, how's it going for you? And if you ask it like that with some wonder, some excitement, it's not like, oh, so tell me, how's it going for you? It's not like this serious job interview. And if you ask it like that, then things can crack open. And by the way, people will tell you exactly how dating is going for them, and you will get such valuable information.
Yeah. So what are the things in a 45-minute screener date? What are people looking for?
Yeah.
What are you looking to screen?
Yeah. So I have something I call my 4 pillars, and I talk about this a lot. And it's sort of the anchor of my intentional dating program. I am convinced that the divorce rate is so high because we are not dating with intention. We are looking for a spark, hoping it catches, and wishing and hoping that everything else falls into place. That's not going to make for a sustainable relationship. And the divorce rate just continues to be astronomical. So there are 4 things we need to check out. We need to have alignment on early by like 4th, 5th date. The 4 pillars are chemistry, which can work in reverse. So we have to redefine what chemistry actually is. It's not an immediate spark at all. The real chemistry is reverse chemistry. Number 2, core values. Right? So core values, anyone listening, you can DM me on Instagram and I'll send you my core values quiz. You can take it. It will spit back at you what your core values are. I knew that my top core value is gratitude. So I would always ask on the first date, what are you grateful for in your life? Right? Because for me, that was exciting. I wanted to hear and I wanted to even see if it registered for someone. The 3rd pillar is emotional maturity. Because without emotional maturity, you will not have communication, you will not have accountability, you will not have a sustainable partner. And the 4th pillar and the toughest pillar is the readiness factor. Is this person, they can say they're ready on their dating profile, they can tell you they're ready, but are they really capable of going the distance with you? Are they ready for the real deal? So I equip my clients with the questions to ask to start to sort of ascertain whether this person is ticking the boxes.
I think that's such a good formula. Do clients usually follow it? Like, do they come back and be like, oh, Amy, I managed to get like 1 out of the 4?
Yeah. Well, by the way, it's not always feasible, and it doesn't, you don't want to come on, you don't want to approach
intense.
dating like heavy, intense, serious. So my ideology is like, we sprinkle these throughout, and you can just ask a question like, so what phase do you think you're in your dating life? Are you discovery dating, just new at it? Are you dating to find a partner? Are you just having fun, right? So you're asking, or okay, if like on date 2, you can ask, if your ex were sitting here, what would she say like your best qualities are, your most challenging? So we're starting to peel the onion a little bit with each date. So you cannot if you come on too strong with all these questions on date 1, it's just way too much. So I'm coaching clients, what's appropriate? How do you get skillfully vulnerable over the first 5 dates, let's say?
Okay. I suppose someone that doesn't feel comfortable answering those questions, or, is like, oh, what's that question about core values? I guess that's not your person, right?
It's a great, yes. I mean, it's scary. If you have not dated with intention before, I get this all the time. Like, Amy, that feels really scary to ask. I don't want to scare someone off. We're used to, as women, especially, we're used to mirroring and matching others. We're people pleasers. So it can feel really, really scary to sit across from someone and say, like, okay, let's time jump 5 years. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? It's a trick question. The only answer is, wow, I hope I'm with my soulmate. I hope we're building a life. You'll get the answer. Someone will say, well, I want to go to Europe for a while. I'm going to like switch jobs. So yes, I remember sitting across from someone in my early dating life in New York after divorce. And I asked that question, if your ex were sitting here, and his eyes literally rolled in the back of his head. Oh. And he was like, that is like way out of bounds. Like, I'm not going to tell you. And he went off. And I remember thinking like, not my person, not my guy.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You just have to be fearless, and you have to be okay with knowing like you're not going to be for everyone. And you're a unicorn looking for a unicorn. We've got to get out of the mindset that like, I just want everyone to like me, like a dopamine hit. Even the people that you don't really like. My clients will go on for 20 minutes about how they think this person's super into them. And I'm like, but how did you feel? Do you like them? How did your nervous system feel? Did you laugh? Did they ask questions about you? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, yeah, no, I guess not. Because we're just trained to want to be wanted.
I read something that you said once, and I've carried it with me, Amy, and that's, it's part of what had made me want to have you on the podcast. You said, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
Yeah.
And it just sort of frees you up, because anything you say, it can't be wrong if it's the right person.
Listen, if you're being mindful and thoughtful, and obviously, if you're being reckless, that rule doesn't apply. But it sort of takes the perfectionistic tendency out of it. It's like the enemy of perfection, the enemy of authenticity is perfection. So we have to stop trying to be perfect and say the perfect right thing, because no one can find you. People can't get to know you if you are trying to spit out the right answer. It's like stumble. I have a client she's so sweet. She met her person and they're nearing engagement. And her whole thing was like, I just turn red. I get nervous. And then I can't stop thinking that I'm turning red. And then I stumble and So what I had her do on dates is she would say, like, she would feel herself getting flushed, and she would just say to the person in front of her, like, okay, I'm turning red. I am so nervous. And that would disarm
endearing.
It's so endearing. Like, our vulnerability is endearing. I think we have to realize that. I had a client come back from a date, and she said, I thought it was the sweetest thing that he was nervous, because it meant that he cared and he, wanted to show up in a good way. So just be mindful of that when you're on a date. If someone doesn't find you endearing, that's not your problem. But all you can do is be you. And, I have no sense of direction at all. So I would always like somehow maneuver the date so I could choose the location so I didn't get lost. And so whoever sat down in front of me, and I turbo dated I did three years of dating in 8 months. And whoever sat in front of me, I would look at him and say, thank you for letting me choose this coffee shop. I am missing the directional chip in my brain. I don't know. And it just immediately, like, it just sort of showed my vulnerability, who I am a little bit. So a big tip I give clients is, what would your best friend say your most endearing, imperfect qualities are? And then show that, get vulnerable.
Hi, everyone. Just a short break to say thank you so much for listening to the episode. I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, please do hit the follow button. It means so much to me and really makes a difference to a new podcast like this one. Also, I would love if you could leave a rating and a review. When you're creating in a vacuum, it's not always apparent whether the episodes are resonating or not, and that's why your feedback is so important to me. It means that I can actually put out episodes that you want and will enjoy. Thanks so much. Back to the episode. So, say you have a successful screener date. What's next?
Yeah. So if you have a successful screener date, again, it might seem successful to you.
Yeah.
You don't know how the other person's receiving it. So ghosting happens a lot. It's not you.
Yes, it does.
If it happens, it is the universe protecting you. It's just pushing this person aside. So just remember, your sort of assumption that the date went well is not necessarily going to be the same assumption this person has. But if it is mutually a good date, a lot of times that person will say to you, "Oh my God, I can't wait to see you again," or "Can we, do the second date soon?" So then you take a step back. I always say that a journal is your best friend in your dating life. I would keep my journal with me. So the person, I would have a first date, they would leave, and I would say, "I'm just going to sit here for a few minutes." And I would journal out how I felt. And then I would journal out the questions I would have if we went on another date, like if I wanted to go on another date. So really think about what you're curious about this person. Like, "Oh, wow, he mentioned that his grandmother, they have lunch every Sunday. I would love to know more about that. Like, what is that?" He mentioned he has 3 sisters. I want to hear more about that, or that he took a year off and traveled. So just write down the questions you're most curious about. And then with the 4 pillars in mind, think about questions, okay, did we talk about, do I think this person's emotionally mature? Maybe I need to ask some questions to get at that.
Are you finding, so I'm curious because I know you have clients that are women and men. I assume there are more women, but that
Lots
could
more
be wrong.
women. Yeah. I
Lots more
probably
women.
have 97% women. I do love my male clients. I just don't have as many of them.
I mean, good for them for
I know.
wanting to be intentional about dating. Well done.
Exactly. They're great guys.
Yeah. With the women, I just wonder if you're seeing all of this pressure because of, society, kind of expectations that are placed on women, biological clock. How do you kind of deal with that kind of energy? Because I can imagine if you're bringing a lot of that pressure to your approach to dating, it's probably not helpful.
It's an epidemic of women in their late 20s, 30s, and early 40s who desperately want to find a partner and desperately want to have kids. And I do coach a lot of women in that category. It is extremely tough when you feel like the clock ticking is deafening and you're watching everybody around you seemingly find people, get married, have kids. And so one of the first things I coach to is you are right on time. Your journey is your journey. I mean, listen, I'm 56 years old. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I have the most amazing partner. I wouldn't change a thing. Is it a little different than how I envisioned it? I didn't get married at 28 thinking I was going to get a divorce. Your journey is going to be yours uniquely, and you have got to figure out a way to find joy and spark joy every single day within you. Because if you do that, you have your own back. You know that, we can manifest whatever we desire, but there are 2 things we're not in control of: the how and the when. So I've had clients who, once we start working together, I look at them and I say, "You just need to have this baby. You want a baby, and that is the most important thing." They go on to have a baby on their own, and the partner comes in after, and they have exactly what they want. It's just in a different order on a different time frame. So no, if you're holding on, if you think that you're powerful enough to control the timing of the universe, you've got to let that go. And by trying to control it, all you're doing is kinking up the hose of really amazing energy that you need in order to manifest what you want.
Yeah. And also suffering for so long for no reason.
You're suffering, and that's the energy that you're emitting. It's fearful energy. So I know it's tough if you're listening and you're in this category. I know it's so hard. But when you see a friend get engaged and you see a friend get married, you see a friend have a baby, it is the universe showing you what is possible. It is the universe showing you that your turn is coming. And if you can flip that mindset and reframe it, everything starts to shift.
I love that. And there's so much, I guess, internal work to be done. How do you work with your clients when it comes to unlearning some of that?
Yeah. So I think we have it all backwards. It's like we are a generation and a culture of, if we're talking about women, We are amazing, amazing perfectionists. We're producers. We achieve. And we try to apply those same principles to dating. I want to do this. I hear this all the time. I'm not doing it right. I want to do it. How
Mm.
can I do this better? And really, that's masculine energy. We need to shift into feminine energy. What feminine energy, which is, by the way, the most powerful energy there is on earth, it's
Hmm.
thousands of years old. This is not a new concept. But when you're in your feminine energy, you are sitting back and you're confident. And you literally, it's like life is a game of chess and you are the queen. You are in charge. You're just sort of like pressing little like buttons here and there. I would like this. Perfect. Perfect. You're not doing, you're just being, and you're reading energy and you're able to manifest so easily. It's like you're in the flow and you can accomplish so much more when you're sitting in your feminine energy. So that's something that I see a lot when clients come to me. They're like fiercely like, I need to do this and I need to do it now. And that's masculine energy.
Yeah. I also think like focusing on yourself and like what makes you happy, being around your friends,
Yes.
having like a fulfilling life without needing someone to make it a fulfilling life is actually kind of where good energy, for me at least, derives from. Like if I am
Yeah.
feeling really fulfilled and happy and not just at work, but also in my personal relationships, creatively fulfilled, I'm just operating from a better space.
I think you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is a really tough one to accomplish. It sounds
Mhm.
easy. It's not easy, but start small. Start with something like I have my clients do this exercise where they write down on one piece of paper everything they want in a partner, but get really specific. Like they are a light among their friends. They're positive and they're optimistic and they have hobbies that they love. They have passions. So go through and write this list. What on the list are you missing?
Mm.
Maybe you've moved away from your friend group. Maybe you have gotten so into work that you're not sparking joy and you're not doing things that bring you or trying new things or learning new things. So that is often a light bulb too. Like, oh, I've always wanted to join a running club, but I've put it on the back burner. Or I've loved art since I was little, but I've just let that go. It's like this is the time now to bring that into your life and start to enjoy your own life. And that is the most sexy, magnetic energy in the world is someone who's really, really starting to live their life differently.
Yeah, and not waiting to find someone to do all of those things. Like, oh,
Right.
I'll do this when I have, when I've found someone. It's like, no, it's
Like,
your life.
if
Like,
you've always wanted to
live it.
travel to Bali, do it. Do it
Mm.
now. And you will be amazed at how your energy will shift and how you'll become just more open and magnetic.
Have like an eat, pray, love moment.
Yeah, whatever that
Yeah.
looks like for you. Take a guitar lesson. It can be
Yeah.
the smallest thing or it can be big.
How does someone know that they've found the right person? You said the chemistry is actually something very different. It's
Yeah.
not butterflies.
Yeah. A
So,
lot of times when you have an immediate, like, oh my God, butterfly, a lot of times it's a signal that your nervous system is dysregulated. And I think people don't realize that. They attach to it. Like, this is rare. I never feel this way. This must be the person. And then they try to retrofit. They try to just make it fit. The 4 pillars that I talked about, and again, if you go to my Instagram, I have information on it. The 4 pillars will not steer you wrong because it'll get you out of this heart space of like, oh, okay, I'm only operating from chemistry to intellectually, okay, let me just see if I'm aligned. Let me just see. So the 4 pillars will really, really help you there. But I think we've got to realize that with reverse chemistry, it means that as you're connecting with someone on an emotional level and you're starting to realize that, oh my gosh, we both played that same sport growing up and we both culturally or had similar experiences or we both are looking at life through the same lens. It's really interesting. We're both optimistic and we both have the same vision for our lives. Like you start to build this emotional intimacy, guess what happens? Then the chemistry starts to catch up to that. And those kinds of relationships have real staying power. That's when you see you're 85 and holding hands and you've been together forever because you're spending a lifetime being curious about each other. And it's really beautiful. So that's what I'm coaching to. And people always ask me, how do you know? How do you know? The biggest question that you can ask yourself when you've been dating someone for 6 months, then there's 9 months, there's some inflection points that happen, but right around the year mark is what I see. When you ask this simple question, which is, can I imagine my life without this person? Can I imagine my life? And if the answer is, yeah, I can imagine it without them. They're great. We've got some alignments, right? That's very different than, oh God, I can't even imagine what it was like before they even came into the picture. They've enriched me. They've expanded my life. They've lit up my life. So that's really the question.
So what strikes me about that, and I'm looking at my own dating patterns, is that I am probably quick to write people off in the sense that, you have a first date. Obviously, I'm not following the 4 pillars, but I will. And if I'm not feeling a spark, chemistry, I'm like, I don't really want to see this person again. Yeah. And I think that's probably fair. It's fair to say it's probably true for a lot of women. Or alternatively, I think I used to date from a space where if the guy wanted to go on a second date, I would almost feel bad not going on the second date. So I would begrudgingly show up. But I don't do that anymore. My question is, do you think people are too quick to write people off?
I do. Listen, I always call the third date the deal breaker date. Give or take. I don't believe in, there are some experts that I know who have said, oh my gosh, you have to go on 8 dates, 9 dates, 10 dates. That is not, for me, that's not going to work. But I do think I always say, okay, let's say you go on the first date and it's very, very mediocre chemistry wise. You're sort of like, if it's a full body no, if you say to me after that date, Amy, if you make me kiss him, I'm really going to I can't do it. I just can't do it. If it's a full body no, every fiber in your being is like, I'm so sorry, I can't do it, then you get a pass on that. Don't go out again. I'm not going to force you to do it. But if it's neutral, where you're like, I can see that he's cute, but I just don't know who we have that special spark, right? Then the second date is your real date. Go to dinner, ask some intentional questions, laugh, spark laughter. Ask them, what's your brand of humor? See if if you're not laughing, then that's something to take into consideration. I mean, people can be nervous, but you want to share some laughter. If you're still on the fence, but maybe, okay, I can see some alignments. Date 3 should be an activity date. I want you playing darts, bowling, playing ping pong. You're going to laugh. And if that after date 3, if the ship doesn't start to turn, then pull the ripcord, call it. It's fine. But I do think people give up after the first date. They give up after the first 3 minutes because we are conditioned to expect violins are going to start playing and the fireworks are going to start going off and we're just going to be texting our best friend in the bathroom. I just met my husband. That isn't realistic. I have a very high success rate. Not one of my clients has that story. And I have very few breakups in my orbit. So I think we need to reframe what it all looks like.
Okay. I will.
She's like, okay. I know it won't happen overnight. You got to do a lot of practice.
Oh, you're totally right, though. It's one of those things. And actually, I think it probably feeds into that kind of ghosting culture. Because we are so quick to write people off, it almost becomes the norm to be like, oh, well, it's okay. I can just forget about this person, move on.
I think so. I think that's part of it. I think ghosting is a whole other issue that is very interesting to me. I see it very differently because I know when you are ghosted, it's very painful.
Yeah.
But I have amazing clients who, before coming to me, even during our work, are trying to still ghost people. And they're amazing people. Ghosters aren't bad people. They're just not emotionally mature, And so when someone ghosts you, try not to take it personally. I get it. but it's their problem. It's a them problem. Like, would you want to keep dating someone who can't even write you a simple text saying, hey, listen, we're just not aligned, right? So that's the universe like, nope.
Yeah.
Next. Yeah.
The emotional maturity pillar has not been met.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just like, oh, okay. It kind of takes the guesswork out of it. It's like, all right, that sucks. I thought I had a different perception, but thank you, universe. Thank you.
What do you think about the ick? I think it's having a moment, and I get it, but I wanted to get your thoughts on like icks.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. I really do. I think there are different forms, like we've just slapped different labels. It's like cringe, there's ick. I going back in history, I'm sure there were other names. But really, when you get an ick about someone, 9 times out of 10, you're being triggered and it's a you problem, right? So it's like the more icks you have, the more you have to look inward to see where it's coming from. So the biggest question to ask is, well, why? I remember I had this client who she went on 5 amazing dates with this guy. They were aligned on the pillars. They had great chemistry, was starting to really grow. And she calls me after the 5th date and she's like, it's a no-go for me. And I was like, what's going on? This is surprising. And she said, well, all the other dates were in these dimly lit places. And this date the lights were on and I could see this tiny bald spot in the back of his head. And I got such an ick, I can't do it. And I sat her down and we went deep into what was underneath that. And it was just it was a fear of getting vulnerable and getting hurt. So when you have an unreasonable ick, listen, my thing was teeth. Okay. I get it. Like you're allowed to have a real ick of like no deodorant, not clean, teeth missing, whatever it is. Like you're allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're all allowed. But when you have a string of like, you have too many icks that are unreasonable, then it's a you thing.
And you kind of have to do the work to find out what's triggering you.
It's fear because we can hide behind anything. You can come up with a reason that something's not going to work. You're going to self-sabotage. That's real fear and trauma. Are you going to be okay after this?
I feel like I'm going to need a moment.
We'll talk after. I'll calm you down. Yeah. It's okay. It's all okay.
I might need your services.
Yeah.
I know that you're a big proponent of the apps, and it does feel like that is how everybody is meeting their person these days. But my experience, and I think the experience of some of my really close girlfriends, is that it is dire out there, Amy.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what is your biggest pain point with the apps? Why are the apps really hard?
I think it's the conversation.
The banter.
It's like this, or there's just like the meaningless chat, which I just don't have time for. And it saps me of my energy. And then I think that's almost an ick for me, in the sense that if it goes on too long, or if I think it's the chat. And it's also kind of meeting the person in real life and them not living up to, or like even nothing translating in person, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great that you said that. You're not alone. So the top 2 most hated aspects of dating that I see are, number 1 is taking photos, new photos for dating apps. People really, really do not like taking photos of themselves. And I often recommend taking new photos. And the second most hated aspect is the banter, right? So I have this whole document, Banter 101, and I go over it and I endlessly coach to the banter. So I think the reason that the banter can be so painful is because we don't feel like we're in control of it. We feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going on this journey of dire like chit chat with people that I don't know. And I'm on this endless like journey to nowhere. If you look at it differently, that my job is to vibrate high in the banter. I am going to approach every conversation with the same energy as as texting with my best friend. Now, of course, you're not going to give all the information to a stranger, but you are going to get really specific. So instead of, hey, how was your weekend? It was fine. It was great. I saw a movie. And no, it's, oh my gosh. Hey, Henry, happy Saturday. What's your favorite show you're binging right now?
Yeah.
right? Get specific, ask questions. You want to talk about, the new John Hamm show you're binging. Great. So ask someone and then you get to talk about it because you selfishly love that show. I would always ask about podcasts because I'm always interested to know what people are listening to. You can ask about a book someone's reading. Ask them, hey, John, happy Saturday. What's a trip you're planning that you're really stoked about? And then you get to talk about your trip you're planning to Spain. And then in the banter, it's not just these one-line answers. Get really juicy with it. And kind of, you can even lightly tease someone and say, oh my gosh, that picture of you and your dog, honestly, the dog is probably cuter, whatever it is. It's it's the same energy as bantering with a friend. In terms of going on too long, I get that. And we're not in this for pen pals. So what happens is after the first couple of days, if you're bantering back and forth and they're not asking you out, you simply say, okay, well, hey, listen, sounds like we'd have a lot to talk about in person. Wink. And if they don't immediately get the hint, ask you out, then it's not going to happen. Most people on the apps are not, even if they say it, relationship, most people they want validation. Maybe they're getting out of a relationship. So it's our job to dip in, check the temperature, and then get out if it's endless. It's okay. Just unmatch. It's not a big deal. But I think, and also if you feel yourself, if your internal voice as you're swiping and talking is saying things like, I can't believe I have to do this. This is terrible. Oh my gosh, look at these people. Oh my, put it down because that's the energy you're emitting. I remember I had this whole game for myself that I thought, okay, let's just say I meet him in 6 months. Oh my gosh, maybe he's joining the apps in 3 weeks. Okay, I better be in the game. And how exciting. I get to do this. I'm this single girl in New York City. Great. I'm going to have fun with this. And I would pop out of bed in the morning and I would when I was fresh and not jaded and I would swipe and text. And then if I felt burnt out 2 days later, I would just put it down for a spell and I'd be okay, I'm not in the mood. I don't want to swipe from this. This is not my best energy.
I have a funny story on the chat, on the banter part of it. Or it was one of those where it went on too long and we were just making small talk for ages. And then I kind of forget. So it would be 2 days before I would remember to respond. And, he would respond. And then it would be a week before I would be okay, I need to respond. And Amy, I'm not proud of this, but I forgot. So it was Christmas, I think one Christmas that we were messaging. I forgot for an entire year. And the following Christmas, I remember waking up and remembering that I had to respond to this person. And I checked and we were still matched and I responded nothing had happened.
Oh my God. Tell me tell me that this person is the love of your life.
No, but he found it funny and we had a good date. There just wasn't anything there. But I just remember, I can't think about it without just laughing at myself.
You're sorry for the silence. I've been busy.
Yeah. He found it funny.
I think that's really great. And it's a good point too. It's people get so freaked out. I bet I have to swipe day and night. It's yeah, you want to be on the apps. You want to be saying hi to 20 people a day if you can. You definitely want to move it forward, but you can't miss what's meant for you. I've seen people freak out because they swiped left by accident on someone that they were oh, wait, he seemed great. I don't know why. And then they pop up in real life or they pop up on another app. It's I think you just have to have a lightness and levity about it.
You can't miss what's meant for you.
Yeah, you can't. If you're in the game and your intention is there and you're meeting your intention with action, then you can't miss what's meant for you. So that means you can have all the intention in the world. And I see this a lot, but people are too scared to do anything. So they're not moving through the world with intention. They're not really on the apps. So that's intention, but no action. Then people can have all the action, but they're haphazard. They're not putting real intention behind it. I see your face.
Yeah.
You're wait, ding, ding. And that is very common. It's very common. Yeah. It's it's not enough to just be doing that and going through the motions. You have to sit back and really be thoughtful about it. That's when the universe starts to pay attention because it's oh, now it's getting interesting. Think about a time when you manifested something in your life that you really wanted. Think about a time when you wanted to go to that school and you were so laser focused on it, and you were going to get into that particular school, or you're going to get that particular job, or you were going to go on that trip and you didn't know how you're going to do it. We all have the stories of, it could even be something small. You have to apply the same principles to love. You can't just be sloppy about it, because the universe gets confused. If you're very, very direct, if you're like, oh boy, I can't tell you, when I do visioning with clients and we really get everything on paper and we start to play with it, and then we start to say to the universe, show me what's possible. Universe, show me how to attract my soulmate. And you have this list in front of you. I cannot tell you the magic that starts to happen.
What are your kind of top 3 tips for someone to have success on the apps?
Yeah, it's a great question. So number 1, I think you have to be really specific in your prompts. Please, for the love of God, it's like I did this too at first. We're trying to appeal to the masses. We're trying to just put all the like sexy pictures up, and we're trying to write the thing we think everyone's going to love. No. Put the pictures up that really show your spark, that your best friend loves. Have your best friend go out to a park and have your best friend take 100 shots of you with an iPhone on portrait mode. And maybe it's the goofy shot of you like laughing off camera. When it comes to the prompts, instead of my simple pleasures are travel, meditating, reading. Everybody writes that. My simple pleasures, going for a walk with my 90-year-old grandfather every night, running a half marathon for the first time, packing a blender when I travel because I am obsessed with smoothies. That was an actual one of a client who is now married with a baby. So really, if you're stuck, grab your best friend, grab a friend. They'll be able to help you get really specific. Cracking jokes at inappropriate times. It's a simple pleasure. That's great. That shows something about you.
So you're almost trying to kind of not scare off, but kind of filter out.
Yeah.
And be really specific about the type of person you're attracting.
Oh, you're filtering out 1,000%. You are repelling people. This is what we want. You're going to get less people who like you, and that's what we want. Your job is much easier if less people like you. You don't want the players. You don't want the people who think you're being too earnest. They're not ready. They're not ready. So I think I see people a lot trying to be cool. Like, I want my profile to be cool. Well, guess what? You're going to attract people who are also trying to hide behind being cool. So when another prompt I love is the key to my heart. And instead of just, kindness, generosity, the key to my heart is knowing my coffee order, being a better parallel parker than me because I'm terrible. And then at the end of that, you can say, excited for my last first date. Instead of like looking for my person, it doesn't have to be so heavy, but you do want to put your intention out there. Again, intention. Because someone who's just like flitting around but thinks you're cute, they're not going to respond to you. And that's good.
Yeah. All it takes is one.
It only takes one.
Yeah, it only takes one.
It only takes one, as my husband likes to say, yes.
Which is the name of your podcast.
It is the name of my podcast, and it came directly from my husband's mouth.
About the male clients that you have, I'm so curious to know how different that experience is compared to the women.
Any male clients, potential clients listening, I love my male clients so much. And I'll tell you why. First of all, you sort of hinted at this. Can you imagine the guy that comes to me and says like, listen, I want to invest in this. I want to optimize my whole dating life. This is a guy who has a good balance of feminine and masculine energy. He's done some work. He sees the value in being intentional and putting himself out there. So I love that. And then my male clients, they don't overthink anything. They just do what I tell them. I'm like, oh God, no fish pictures, no gym selfies. What? No, we redo the pictures. I tell them, I'm like, okay, these should be your prompts, and here's how you swipe, and here's how you banter. And they're like, oh, done. Amazing. Okay, great. They literally, there's no hemming and hawing. There's no overthinking. There's no like beating themselves up. They're inherently more confident. It's just hilarious. So they're spectacular.
I love that. I love that. And it sounds like it's a lot easier.
Well, on some level it is. And also they find it fascinating that I know what women want to see on the other side. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting to coach to them because I'm like, oh, women, really like when you're like, I have a whole workshop on courtship and chivalry for the men because they don't they've lost that. Like
Yeah.
they've lost that whole memo because it's just a different generation. So once I give them the workshop and we go through it, they're like, oh, they're bringing flowers on dates. They're like, really courting the woman and being respectful on so many levels. So it's really sweet. I really love it.
You're doing God's work, Amy.
That would be true on that level. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there was one thing, I guess, you could wave your magic wand and fix for all of your clients. And it's one of those things where you just want to shake someone and be like, don't you see it? This is what you need to change. If you could do that for literally everyone, just one thing, what would it be?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. It's one of the best questions I've heard yet. And my answer is immediate. It is knowing your worth. Knowing your worth. When I meet with a client or a prospective client, I immediately can tune in to them in a very pure way, and I can see their magic. I can see their love. I can see how they were put on this earth to be loved. They have built all these walls. They built all these masks out of survival and other things. And big part of my job is to mirror back their worth and their lovability and their magic so that they can go forward in the world and their dating life. And it is my privilege. It is such a gift for me to be able to give that back. And once I always say, like, when your worth intersects with your vision, like two intersecting circles, that's when the magic starts to happen.
Oh, I love that. I feel so uplifted. I have asked you all of my burning questions, Amy, and I wanted to ask if there was anything you wanted to kind of say in the remaining minutes.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. I think I've said this before, but I really want to reiterate that we're taught from a young age that we are good or bad. It's just something that happens. I mean, when we're born love. We go into the world with love and we go out of the world with love. And really, that's the most important thing. And so to know that you don't need to do anything, you don't need to add anything to you to make you lovable. You don't need to switch anything. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to fill your face with anything. You are lovable and your person. And I think we have many soulmates, but when you meet a soulmate, they will love you for who you are inherently, just for existing. And I see it over and over. I am in the best seat in the house that I get to see. I get to witness the love stories weekly, monthly, yearly. So I know it's true. And your best asset in your dating life is to be authentic. It's to show up imperfectly, but with great enthusiasm and openness and with a big, big heart. And if you do that, you'll be good.
I wanted to share this with you because I think you might appreciate it. As I was walking into the studio today, there is a cocktail club just opposite, the road opposite, and it was playing a song, and it was playing the song from Moulin Rouge, the one that goes, "The greatest thing you'll ever learn is to love and be loved in return." Literally as I was walking in to record this episode.
Okay, there are no accidents. Like every single thing in life, we could do a whole nother episode on. Everything is a sign. So that was a sign. That was like the universe smiling, saying, "Oh, here we go. Let's raise the vibration so that people listening can tune in and they can feel what it's like to feel their energy shift into love." And I think listening, hopefully that's what we're giving people today.
I love that. I'm sure we are. Amy, where can people find you and your work?
Yeah. So I have everything on my website, which is Love Amy. So loveamy.co. So it's pretty much everything. And then Instagram is love.amy.nyc. Like I said, if anyone wants that core values quiz, if they want, I've also recorded mini meditations for people to really start to meditate. So if you want either of those, both of those, just DM me on Instagram. I love it. I'll just send you those items.
Yeah, which is what I did, and which is why we are having this conversation today. I love that. Thank you so much, Amy. I so appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast, and this has just been the best chat ever.
It's really been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please do hit the follow button and leave a rating and review. It makes such a difference, and it personally just means so much to me. Thank you.